Have you ever wondered how humans, from hunter-gatherer groups of only 50 people, were able to build cities with millions of people, great empires, in a complex, interconnected world like today? What allowed millions of strangers to cooperate effectively to build pyramids, roads, or even create money, multinational corporations? Perhaps behind all those great achievements is not physical strength, but a very special secret weapon, possessed only by Homo sapiens. Let's explore.
70,000 years ago, our species Homo sapiens was still a relatively insignificant animal. We were no stronger than the burly Neanderthals or faster than other predators. Our groups could only sustain a size of about 50 individuals, similar to other primates. Maintaining relationships and cooperation in larger groups was impossible. But suddenly, a great turning point occurred, changing the fate of the human species: the cognitive revolution. This is not a biological or genetic change, but the development of a unique ability: the ability to think and communicate about imaginary things, myths that do not exist in the physical world. Trees, rocks, rivers, we can see, touch. But a god, a country, or a company are imaginary realities. And it is by telling stories about these imaginary realities that we are able to trust and cooperate with strangers, people we have never met. Imagine a group of hunter-gatherers living 100,000 years ago. They believed that the spirits of the forest would protect them. This belief united them, but only within their own tribe. Now imagine a new world where people could tell stories about greater gods, about mythical common ancestors. It was these stories that became the glue that allowed two unfamiliar tribes to believe in the same myth and work together to hunt a giant mammoth, something they could not do alone. The cognitive revolution, however, was just the beginning. To truly build great civilizations, humanity needed another revolution, one that completely changed the way we make a living: the agricultural revolution. About 12,000 years ago, humans began to domesticate plants and animals. We abandoned our nomadic lifestyle and settled down, cultivating wheat and rice and raising livestock. This allowed us to produce huge amounts of food, enough to feed hundreds, even thousands of people. The population exploded, but with it came new problems. Larger numbers meant more complex social relationships. Villages grew into cities, then kingdoms. To maintain order and stability, humans had to create new imaginary structures, imagined orders. We needed laws to regulate behavior, religion to create shared moral standards, and money to serve as a means of efficiently exchanging goods and services. For example, money is not an object with intrinsic value. A piece of paper only has meaning if millions of people believe that it can be exchanged for a loaf of bread or a house. This is a huge imaginary reality connecting billions of people around the world. Similarly, a country or a company exists on shared beliefs. They are not physical entities, but stories told, rules made, and followed. From farming villages, we continued to evolve. Around 5,000 years ago, the first kingdoms emerged along with writing. Writing allowed us to store and transmit information about complex orders such as laws, taxes, and contracts. This paved the way for the creation of empires, where millions of people were ruled under a single authority.
However, this development was not without its downsides. The agricultural revolution did not necessarily make people happier. Farmers worked harder than hunter-gatherers, and the concentration of populations created inequality, war, and disease. Yet humans could not return to their old ways because the population had grown so large. We were trapped in our own luxury trap. And that's how we rose from small groups of just a few dozen to build complex societies, great civilizations. We didn't do it by getting stronger, but by getting better at telling stories. The ability to tell shared stories, myths, allowed us to cooperate on a massive scale, an advantage no other animal has.
But the question is, how do these stories, these myths, have such power? How can we effectively communicate them so that people believe them? The answer lies in something very basic to human society, something we do every day. It is language and rumors, the foundations of human society. We'll dig deeper into this in the next episode.